Hello, this is a reflection on the Gospel reading for today, August the 6th, which is the feast of the Transfiguration. And I'm going to read it to you. It's from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 17, verses 1 to 9. Jesus took with him Peter and James and his brother John, and led them up a high mountain where they could be alone. There in their presence he was transfigured. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Suddenly Moses and Elijah appeared to them, and they were talking with him. Then Peter spoke to Jesus. "Lord," he said, "it's wonderful for us to be here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He was still speaking when suddenly a bright cloud covered them with shadow, and from the cloud there came a voice which said, "This is my Son, the Beloved. He enjoys my favour. Listen to him." When they heard this, the disciples fell on their faces, overcome with fear. But Jesus came up and touched them. "Stand up," he said. "Do not be afraid." And when they raised their eyes, they saw no one, only Jesus. As they came down from the mountain, Jesus gave them this order: "Tell no one about the vision until the Son of Man has risen from the dead." Well, Matthew's describing a meeting with God. That's who Jesus is. Peter, James and John have just climbed a hill with him. Then they discovered who he really is, not just the extraordinary human being that they had previously thought him to be, but something far more wonderful. That's what's signalled by the dazzling light and the overshadowing bright cloud. This meeting points back to significant encounters with God that Israel, the nation of Israel, still remembers from its past. The meeting in the fire and smoke of Sinai, when God gave Moses the 10 Commandments chiselled into stone tablets. The cloud filling Solomon's temple on the day it was dedicated. And Elijah meeting with God on another hilltop, but this time meeting with God who spoke in a still, small voice. And this meeting on the Hill of Transfiguration also points forward too, to all those meetings that the risen Jesus will have with his future disciples, up to that final future encounter when he brings the eternal restoration of all things. And we disciples in our own day, in our own lives, are still given sudden, unexpected meetings with Jesus, surprising encounters, moments of a sense of a holy meeting, a knowing of his presence with us, feeling that our world, at least at that time, is full of grandeur. A moment of deep peace, perhaps, or even of a healing disturbance. Moments of joy and refreshment. These moments come in different contexts. They may come while we're meditating on the scriptures, or taking part in the Eucharist, or in contemplative prayer, where we're just enjoying being in presence of God with no particular purpose except to enjoy it, or out in nature, or gazing at works of art, or sometimes they suddenly come out of the blue spontaneously. Such meetings are usually transient, like the meeting of Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. Moments that cannot be made to linger, like Peter tried to do when he offered to put up 3 tents. There are moments of transfiguration when we know, perhaps for a brief time, the Lord in his glory. They're the process of our being transformed into the likeness of Jesus, bit by bit. They move that movement forward. And there are also times when we remember our final destiny, which is to bear once again the untarnished image of God as God intends. These moments of transfiguration sustain us, or at least I find they sustain me, through losses, through sadnesses, through stress, through fears. They're a lamp lighting the way through the darkness into the dawn.